We can reuse it, so, thank you.
Well, I think we'll call to order the regular delayed school board meeting of the Madison Central School District. It is Friday afternoon at 4 p.m., the 12th of April. Mr. Brooks will record that all members are present, which gives us a quorum, so let's stand and put our pledge of our allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is approval of the agenda, and I believe we have nothing that has changed from the published agenda, so I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Miller has the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Hanemichael has the second. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the agenda as published signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Declare that that is passed. Next is the consent agenda items 7 through 9. First off is the approval of our minutes of our regular meeting of March 11th. Mrs. Cecil and Mr. Miller and Mrs. Sims, myself looked at the bills. Any comments, questions?
It's 6.5 years I finally caught Mitch making a mistake.
Congratulations. Do we need that in the minutes, Mr. Brooks?
Let's do that one. He landed on all the work he was doing that day.
Okay, okay. Other than that, though, things were kosher?
Yes.
Okay, we're good. All right, and, our financials have been posted. And item number 9, Mr. Jorgensen, do you want to take care of personnel actions?
Sure. A couple resignations. Libby Grindeland, high school para. That was on March 28th, effective. And then Carly Roselle, elementary teacher. That will be for the end of the school year. And then for hires, Joy Boone will replace Libby as a high school paraprofessional, $11.65 an hour. Larry Scott replaced Brandy Baker as a custodian at $13.15, and that was with night differential. And Sheena Barrick as a custodian at $13.50 with night differential. And then Torrin Demericks as a playground supervisor at $9.40.
Okay, so that takes care of the personnel actions. I would entertain a motion that we approve our consent agenda items. Mrs. Schultz, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Sims, further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the consent items signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Declare that that has passed. I don't see anyone here for hearing of delegations. Administrator reports.
Just a couple items. I think you have the bus grants that we talked about later. We did get 2 bus grants. Did want to mention buildings and grounds staff. Just want to recognize Mr. Hanson and all of his staff for the great job they've done this winter and this spring as well. I guess it's spring. And their snow removal, because they put a lot of hours in, a lot of early morning hours. And to say the least, it's been quite a year. So I just wanted to recognize them for the job they've done in keeping our grounds nice and snow removed, cleaned off. The other item would be Plan B or Plan C or wherever we're at for snow makeup days now. With 3 more, like I mentioned at the last meeting, if we had another one or whatever, we would probably just do staff. We've got 3 more now. I did mention that we'd look at that next week then, coming back for a couple days. So I would recommend that we come back with students on the 28th and 29th for 2 days. And that'll fit well into semester testing for the high school as well. And then we'd have 2 additional days with staff following that. Would be my recommendation. We're up at 11 days now, so.
Which semester test, when will they fall then?
That Tuesday, Wednesday, after.
After,
That's when the test would be.
That's when, in talking with Sean, I'm pretty sure that's when the high school test will be those 2 days.
So how do we handle people that have like vacations planned
Well,
with those tests? They just have to pre-plan like?
they will have to talk to them, and that was why we tried to get it out last month, that
This could happen.
we'd like to have it done, but, and again, The other option is we have 4 days with staff and we give up 2 contact days, but we've given up quite a few contact days already, I think. I just think we need to come back for 2 days with that.
Other thoughts, questions?
Well, that, I mean, does the elementary still do a lot of field trips and stuff, like,
They'll have things lined up and
they could move them to those 2
they'll have
days?
to do whatever, or some maybe before that, and they're gonna have to, again,
Cause I just envision those 2 days being big parts, that's what I envision, you know, if, I mean, up here taking tests, yes, but in elementary and everything else.
they'll be as good as we can make them.
So, you know, I would encourage that they move those type of things to those days. And-
Those that they can move.
Yeah,
Some they may not be able to just because of where they go or what they have
yeah,
on.
true.
And they actually spread out some of our transportation requirements for
Correct.
elementary travel also.
We could put them all on the same day, so.
Oh, sure.
So that could be a little bit of a blessing in disguise.
I wasn't hoping for a plan B or C, but where we're at.
I guess I feel the student contact days, at this point in time, we've been trying to avoid those, but I read we're hearing it gets out the 7th of June, so I don't feel real bad.
And one of the days we were using as a half-day makeup was also a day that we had a snow day, so Wednesday was a half-day instead of half-day, and we lost that day too,
Oh,
so
jeez.
great plans. But that's what I would recommend that we do.
Okay. Other things on the administrator's report? Well, I have one item, and Mr. Jorgensen said we're not supposed to surprise him with things.
Correct.
But I'm going to violate that rule tonight, because Mr. Joel Jorgensen is the South Dakota Superintendent of the Year.
Well, that's a good surprise, I don't mind. But it's a surprise.
You knew you were a finalist of 3, is my understanding.
That's what they told me, but,
And then I got a call from some superintendent up in Millbank
okay.
that was going to hold the announcement because we were delaying our meeting. So it will be publicly announced after, well, originally it was going to be publicly announced after yesterday, but I don't think it made it out publicly. So congratulations, Joel, honor very, very well deserved. So,
It's a very humbling.
and we feel very fortunate that we have the South Dakota Superintendent of the Year on our staff. So.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
After your decision to go 2 more days. My Madison kids' parents,
Does that come with 2 vacation days? Oh, thank you. Definite surprise, but thank you.
All right. Anything else, administrators? Mitch, got anything? Okay. Then, on to item number 12 is approval of issuance of the 2019-2020 certified Title I teacher contract. We actually got our funding earlier this year than normal. So, have we decided how those are being issued yet?
To the returning.
To the returning two,
Yeah.
okay? So we,
who is that? No, the second one.
Mrs. Rito and Mrs.
yes,
Yeah.
well, sister-in-law anyway. All right, so those would be the 2. I would entertain a motion that we issue those contracts then. Okay, Mrs. Sims, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Hanamichael. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the issuance of the Title I teacher contract, signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. A little slow there. I don't know if it's 4 o'clock or the snow, you got a little scared here. Okay. Number 13, Mitch, approval of food service renewal 2019-20.
We just got our numbers today, so I was, timing was good. If it would have been yesterday, we wouldn't have had it ready, but, so what this is this is our agreement with Thrive, and this is what the district pays per meal, not what the students pay, but what we pay per meal. So I'll just kind of verbally kind of read what the CPI index, we use CPI food away from home, over the calendar year 2018, it changed 2.8%. So then that's in our contract what our rates would change. So in this current year, we pay $2.81 per lunch. So next year it'd be 7.9 cents higher. So it'd be $2.889, so $2.88.9 would be the new meal rate. For breakfast, current year was $1.49, it went up 4.2 cents, so that'd be $1.53.2 per meal. Summer food service lunches would be the same as the lunches would be at that 2.889. And then we have our a la carte sales. There's an equivalency factor, and that for this year was $3.61. That goes up to $3.71.1. And then for non-reimbursable meals, these would be like adult meals or any student meal that doesn't meet the requirements. It was $3.50. That was this year's. Next year's would be $3.59.8. So then that's our changes to our agreement with them.
And this is the second year of a multi-year agreement?
It's, second year, or considered first renewal.
Okay.
We're, so this is our first renewal, we're allowed 4 renewals off of this. Do that. So what we'd be approving is our amendment to the contract to change those rates.
I'm assuming there's a recommendation for that,
And I recommend to approve.
okay?
What is the purpose of a multi-year contract if it's negotiated 4 times then?
Well, it's not necessarily negotiated this way. Whenever we make a change, we have to amend it. When we do the 5-year, we do it for the 5-year, we factor in that CPI. So we choose a CPI that we would use as an index factor.
So we know the index factor.
So once we find an index factor, and then we go through kind of the agreement process, and then we have to have the state review to make sure that we have anything that was added for the school lunch program. It could be training requirements, things like that, anything added during the year that we don't have an original contract, we'd add that also. And then once that's completed, then we have an amendment together and bring that forward. And so we would acknowledge the changes, they would acknowledge the changes. And if at any point we don't agree, then we would go out for a new contract.
Move to approve. Mr. Nelson moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Schultz. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the food service renewal for 2019-2020, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that that is passed. Item number 14, authorize membership in the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
This is a yearly school board resolution, which is due by the July 15th. Whenever we get it in, we usually just bring it to the board meeting right away to get it in place. This allows us to be part of the Activity Association for the 2019-2020 school year.
So we need to approve that as a board.
So.
Mrs. Sims has the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mrs. Cecil. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of membership in the South Dakota High School Activities Association, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare motion is passed. Item number 15, I want us to trade our 2018 skid steer loader for a 2019 at zero cost. Steve?
Move to approve.
Okay, Mr. Nelson likes that deal.
I'll second.
And Mr. Michael will second that. Again, thank you to Lake County for that opportunity and that we have. And we put more hours on this one than we probably put on any loader, maybe even combined with this wonderful thing called winter that we had. So we have a motion and a second to do the trade. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare motion is passed. 16, Summer Food Service Program Update.
So if I've given a kind of update on the summer food, we did get approval for this year. There's a factor on how they base whether you can offer this program or not. And the factor that qualified us last year actually went away. The state wrote an exemption, and so we got qualified again for this year. So whether it'll be here in future years, we don't know that for sure. But we have been qualified for this year. Depending on calendar adjustments and the summer program, we still have to put our application together when we'll start this, but we usually try to time it with the summer program. But we had better estimates last year. We really weren't sure how the program would go and cost or anything because it was new to us. So for this summer, our estimated costs are just shy of $12,000. We run about a 45 to 50 day program. The revenues to it will be just over about $12,000 with our reimbursements that we get on the federal side with this. So so it does cover itself well. And that's estimating last year we had 71 children per day each, so we use that same estimate for this year. We're looking at a partnership, and Mr. Jorgensen knows more about this, with East Dakota Transit on a way of getting students that are across town to the program, and we're looking at ways of doing that at no cost. With this partnership, we don't have all the details to it yet, but that's something that I think would be a good addition, helping get children to the program. Any questions anyone has of it, or?
Questions, comments? It's a wonderful program.
You said transportation's gonna be the only real issue. I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
great if we can get something worked out.
Did you say something about 45 to 50 a day, but
For-
then 71 children
Or
a day?
45 to 50 days.
Oh,
is how long
45
our
to 50
program
days,
is.
sorry.
I'm sorry, yeah, and then we averaged, last year we averaged 71 children per day. We had, we had some days that were very light, we had some days that were up to 150, so it varies quite a bit, but.
And you know that the farther south in town they are, the harder it is for them to get here, that's why we're trying to get, East Dakota Transit is wanting to work with us on some things, and we have a little more flexibility than we had last year, knowing more about the programs, we're trying to get that in place so they won't be cost potential.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
And that's basically informational, we don't need any action on that one. 17, clean diesel bus grant update. Mr. Brooks.
We submitted applications for 2 of our buses, and it's 2 of our older buses, but it's our in-town routes. And we were awarded those. The first round we weren't awarded, but we got it through the second round after the legislature approved some more dollars with a settlement that they had, the Volkswagen settlement. And so what this is, we were able to get liquid propane buses, and that's getting to be over half the buses issued this year were liquid propane. It runs at quite a bit less. South Dakota Schools reported 37 cents per mile less, which ends up being, for us, would be about $4,000 per year per bus savings on that. They run 40% quieter. This is one of their standouts. They start better in cold temperature. They give out 60% less nitrogen oxide, 80% less hydrocarbons, and 100% less particulate matter. So a lot cleaner as they go around the community. The buses cost about $94,000 each. Our grant is just under $32,000. So it's actually less expensive for us to buy a liquid propane bus versus a diesel bus. They should be coming around July, mid part of July, and you'll see their 77 passenger buses. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting that we're able to get in on that.
And it does require us to remove 2 buses from our fleet, which we have done in the past, and
We actually have to destroy the motor, cut the chassis, and then recycle the bus, because they don't, and that's part of the plans, we're taking an older, more emission motor off the road, and putting a better emission.
But to put it in perspective also, if we tried to trade one of those buses, then we'd get probably $1,500.
Yeah.
Instead of $32,000 for a grant.
Yeah, we sold them in the past, our tires are worth, that's what people buy them for.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
So it's pretty exciting.
very good. Thank you, Mitch, for applying, and more importantly, glad you were lucky
Yeah.
on that. Any other questions on that? If not, then we will be going into executive session, and more than likely, we may be taking an action following that, depending upon what the results of the discussions in executive session are, so. 3. And item number 19 is consider an early retirement request.
I'd like to make a motion to accept early retirement request from Mr. Thomas Millen.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Hanemichael. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the early retirement of Thomas Millen signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare the motion is passed. And then we have another executive session.